Seltzer Kings
podcasts.
Hey, comedian Adam Newman here, letting you know about Pussy Boys, a brand new podcast I co-host with my funny friends where real men talk about their love of cats. So tune into Pussy Boys on the Seltzer Kings network and listen, subscribe, write us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your pods. That's Pussy Boys, all Z's. Trust me, you don't want to go where the S's take you. It's gross.
Okay, best MalörtFace. Ready?
I haven't had it, so I can't do it.
Really? He hasn't had Jepson's Malört. He's probably had
I may have
Olsen's
turned it down,
Malört.
though, to be honest.
I'd say that now.
They
Really?
probably had that
Because I was with
What does
those
that say about
guys
you?
when they tried it,
I mean,
yeah.
You got to have a shot. You have to.
Yeah. It's on my list. It's on my to-do before I croak list.
That's on your bucket list is Malört? Oh, gosh.
Jeremy just wants 2 pieces
Can't
of
do it.
facial hair. So I said if he does 2
Right.
He'll
pieces
grow
of Malört,
2 beard strands.
not even
If I
just
could
have
grow a
candies
full
now.
beard and
you don't even have to drink
have
it.
to
They're
drink
just like little
Malört every day, I would do
candies.
it. But my
the-
brain tumor will not allow for me to grow facial hair. So thanks a lot, Danny.
Playing
Yeah.
the brain tumor
Wow,
card
you
really
stepped
early.
in it
Yeah.
right
What
at
a
the
bully.
top.
Yeah,
40
playing the brain tumor card early.
40 years of using the brain tumor excuse.
48.
I've only been friends with you for 20.
He has it on good authority. You've been using it that long.
That's
But
right.
You were quite young when you discovered you couldn't grow facial hair. Isn't that true,
It's
Jeremy?
funny. That was his first word was brain tumor. I didn't realize that Jeremy-
Well,
it's great because
not-
it's
not-
2
not
words,
the
really.
case,
So I mean, that's
because-
really pretty good.
if it was, then they would have looked then and not 10 years later when it was bigger, the size of a golf ball.
A discriminating traveler uses Jepson's gummies, Jepson's Malört gummies for the traveler that can't stop for a drink.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they make gummies for everything
Oh,
else.
we have sponsors now. Look at this. We're going to get bottles of Malört, and it's going to be all.
Oh, I know a guy.
We
I know a
have a
guy in
little-
Los Angeles who imports that Malört. I get it to New York, but he can get it to Los Angeles.
Malört and port.
Do it, baby. Import that Malört. Import that Malört.
It's a good T-shirt. Import Malört.
Import that Malört. Well, some podcasts make T-shirts every episode. I guess we could be that podcast, but
Yeah.
we're not. So I'll start our regular podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Adventures of Danny and Mike. To my right, Mr. Danny Tamberelli.
Up and to the left of you on my screen.
Barely there. Moving on. And to his right, Mr. Michael C. Maronna.
I'm never to the right of Danny, but happy to. Thank you.
And my name is Jeremy. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before we go any further, we have a special guest. And for all you nostalgia lovers, good Lord, the resume is spotless. This person has been in things like My So-Called Life, Beakman's World, and Home Alone with Mr. Michael C. Can't wait to hear some of those stories. Welcome to the pod, Senta Moses.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
What
Yeah,
a
welcome.
great last name. You could be any nationality with the name Moses. They just like
It's a screw up.
I know.
It's a screw up.
It's a total mess up. When my
Really?
dad's grandparents came over from Lebanon, they didn't speak enough English to say that Moses was their middle name and Abihana was their last name. So they reversed it. And now I'm a
And then
Moses.
I have my great uncle and my great aunt Abby, and then my other great aunt Hannah Moses, and they're like, no, we got it. It's the other way around. Son of a.
No. Yeah. Maybe we'll right the wrong one day. Who knows?
Wouldn't you like to be a Moses too?
Yeah. Anybody could.
Anybody. I do want to start, if I could, with a little story. When we went touring in Florida, there was one thing that these two guys really, really, really wanted to do, and that was to see the Blues Brothers. I don't know if you remember
I
this.
got my SAG
but
card. Got my
But
SAG
they
card on that
really
movie.
wanted the glasses, and they really wanted to see the guys. Obviously, not the real ones, but the Disney or whatever Paramount versions. and a young Senta Moses, 6 months old, was in that.
No, you're very kind. I was 5, but thank you.
Oh, close. Oh, 6 months is when you started. Gotcha.
Right, yeah. 6
My
months is when
timeline's
I
all screwed
started.
up.
I did a diaper commercial at 6 months that showcased my naked bottom. So that was fun. And then I graduated from porn and did the Blues Brothers.
It's only up from there. Only up.
Yeah.
That's the natural. Yeah.
I was 5 when I did that movie, and I believe that I have the claim to fame that I am the only person that has ever peed on the Bluesmobile. So I'm gonna
Wow.
take that.
Record remains
Put that on your
exclusive.
resume.
Yeah.
It's
Why
true.
did they bring that up when we were watching the show at Universal? Yeah, Universal. I think that sounds about right.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, those were imposter.
It would have been great to have a little kid come out and pee on the car.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. People would be like, "That's a good Easter
I'm
egg."
going to Planet Hollywood to break Senta's record.
There's a new bar or restaurant in Burbank actually called the Bruise Brothers. So there's all these like spin-offs.
You should get free stuff, I feel like. You should go in and act like you own the place.
I've learned one thing about the entertainment industry. I'm not the person that gets free stuff. Like it just never trickles down.
Did you learn the hard way? You must have anecdotes about such a thing.
About not getting free stuff?
Yeah, just showing up somewhere.
Oh.
being
You
like,
still
do you
well.
know
What
who
happens
I
is
am?
when you get all this swag and then we sell it on eBay for money, then they're like, okay, well, I guess you can't get any more.
Right.
You're just paying.
That was the
rent.
golden rule.
That's different.
Yeah. Right, exactly. And SAG's like, but you can't be doing that, so we're just not going to give you any more gifts.
I mean, I've gotten wrap gifts, but like as far as like, like you do a commercial for peanut M&Ms and you're like, oh man, I'm going to be sitting in M&Ms for the rest of my life. And that's not true. So just heads up.
I guess that's true, and your friends all assume that. I did a Wendy's commercial, and everyone was like, "Do you get free Wendy's for life?" I'm like, "No, I pay like everyone else." Okay.
Yeah, like no perks, none.
It would have been good if you got some Ameritrade, Michael.
Oh, yeah.
I think I have a varsity-looking jacket from Home Alone 2. There was like a black.
I do too.
The black jacket
Yeah, the
with
black leather one.
leather sleeves, exactly. So I was thinking
with the hues.
I could put that on eBay, but I still have it instead.
Yeah, I almost sold it during the strike to raise money for the Entertainment Community Fund because, not so much anymore, but back then all wrap gifts were size large.
They were.
So I have this big Letterman jacket that
fitted.
Goes down to my knees.
I'm
never going to wear it. And I'm like, why the fuck am I keeping this thing? And I thought, well, maybe if I could get a bunch of money but my mom, my sentimental mother, got to me. She's like, oh, you don't want to do that. You're going to look back and regret that.
It's your legacy. It's your legacy.
You can put it in the upstairs small closet at my place. You can just leave it there. That's what my mom has.
Is that where you put all of your
my
parents?
My parents still live in the same house I grew up in Jersey, so there's like all sorts of weird, like in the basement or in the attic or garage and stuff like that. They've recently tried to like
your old term papers.
Well, the wrap gifts on Mighty Ducks were jackets, suede arm jackets, which just get ruined so fast. All you do is spill 1 cup of coffee and then the jacket looks like shit.
Quickly.
And I know them experience.
Sneaking through all those thorn bushes next to your house.
Well, I also noticed that if you do sequels, the wrap gifts improve. Like the Home Alone, the original wrap gift for Home Alone was like a t-shirt. And then we do the second one and suddenly it's a fucking leather bomber jacket.
Baboon. Baboon.
Okay.
I feel like I'd rather have the t-shirt. Like, I would still wear that. Yeah.
I don't know if I would fit into any
It just
t-shirts
jumped
that I
right
got when
to
I
it.
was 11.
Sleeveless leather jackets is what you're saying. They should have been the Home Alone 2 wrap gifts.
Just,
The difference.
like, what the Harley Davidson guys wear, just like that. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's the cut off jacket, jean jacket. Everybody looks like Vaughn. I'm just saying, when they do the reboot, they better do that.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. They're going through all
We
the
are
rappies
all
that they own.
Eldon Henson.
Nobody's taking any
We
new
are
idea.
all Eldon Henson.
I was going to say that the era of you not getting gifts at the end of things is going to end because we're going to send you some merch. We'll send you some
What?
Danny Mike shirts, Krebs Star
Oh,
on the
yeah.
back.
Are
We
you
got one.
kidding?
We don't all
A
have
metal
one.
shirt
I
with
will
Danny and Mike's
wear
young
that.
young little faces on the front that says nostalgia
I
personified.
will wear it and I will tag y'all on social media.
Go.
Yes.
All right.
Jeremy just moved
Yes.
6 to 8 weeks for delivery.
Yeah, it's in this world of
Oh, are you
boxes
outside
somewhere.
of the
And I have
U.S.,
to
the
pay for
48
shipping,
in
right?
Canada?
Yeah.
If you could, yeah. We're a small little network. Just another $4.99. Yep.
I can squish it. I
Unless
can
you
squish
sign
it
up
in the
for the
smallest
Oh,
box.
you want the box padded?
Nostalgia
come a
Prime.
little
If
creased.
you sign up for Nostalgia Prime, you get next day.
Those flat rate boxes, is that what you're talking about? Those little
Oh,
flat rate
yeah.
boxes that you just, it's like if you can get the tape around it, it ships, right?
Yep. If it fits, it ships.
I recently realized I had to send a couple books out, and they're like just like a quarter of an inch too big for the box, and I can't in good conscience just like, because we were like 7 people, it's like
Bend it.
I don't really care. I can bend it a little bit. It's a book. It's gonna get read. It's get up. You can't send it to them like that. So I had
Yeah,
to,
it depends
I
who
had
you're
to pay the
sending it
extra.
to.
I
It
had
does
to pay the
depend.
extra.
It does depend. Well,
Life is hard.
you could have saved that
Life
money
is
by
hard.
spending, $4.99 on a can of book lube, and then that would have just whoop slipped right in the
Book
You
lube?
never.
Anything
Book
can be book
lube?
lube.
Oh, it's an old
I'm
publishing.
gonna need a moment.
It's an old publishing secret. Yeah, book lube. You get them into those fit to ship.
It's just a.
Are
It's
you
just a
guys
little
believing
ink.
me? Are you? Are you?
No.
do you-
Never.
do you
Nor will
believe
our
me?
audience.
We had.
Maybe yes
And if they
detector is
do,
like,
so sorry.
Thank you for believing me.
Did you guys have book condoms in school?
no, but we
Oh,
had
the-
ours were made out of brown paper bags.
Yeah, grocery.
Yeah, grocery bags. But out in Jersey, someone was,
Yeah.
the Scholastic Book Fair or something, selling these like stretchy, like fabric ones that you could put over.
Yep, I remember this.
I
Yeah,
still
that was
like-
the '90s style, I think.
Where
Yeah,
you would just stretch
but
it
was
over
just
like
this
the
stretchy fabric,
like where
that
a
you could
cover
put
would
over it.
go.
And you could
Yeah.
still, Sharpie the hell out of them, and they wouldn't get onto the actual books. Well, some of them, I'm sure I paid a hefty price. Public school education.
Yeah.
That's
Those
right.
fees.
Well, I guess these are yours now. Guess what?
All
I
those
stole a
marked
couple
up
books
book
too.
fees you had back as a.
In case I
Young
own school. I was going to
whippersnapper.
homeschool my kids, but they're going to regular school.
Oh.
I've told this tale before, but Senta, I have to confess. I took a library book on the Civil War out of the public library in Chicago.
I never gave
Yeah.
it back.
I wrote a paper on the American Civil War. I never used so many index cards in my life. I laid out, I took my I was in 7th grade, just started in new school, and I was taking my research seriously. I laid out my index cards, I wrote my paper, and it turned out that I was supposed to write a paper about the Ethiopian Civil War, and there was a miscommunication in the distance between Illinois and New York. That was not expressed by my teacher, Mrs. Parks, who I had for seventh grade social
Call her out,
studies. Oh,
Mike.
she was a meanie.
Yeah.
And
I've invited all of
When
your
Slossie
old
I
teachers.
met the McCoys,
and I got
All of your old teachers are here.
and yeah, Selassie versus Sherman was a pivotal battle. But I kept the book. I still have the Civil War book that I checked out of the Chicago Public Library, and I'm not going for any kind of record. And maybe one day I'll give it back in a big, reconciliation ceremony with the city of Chicago.
Yeah, well, you got to write that wrong.
I think you got to write that. Actually, the writing wrong need. I want to hear about your paper from the Ethiopian Civil War. You gotta write it.
I never wrote that. I never wrote
Unbelievable.
that. I never wrote that. I got to see.
Unbelievable.
I got to see.
I guess I'm confused why you didn't return the book. Were you just pissy about the whole thing? So you're
Yeah,
like, forget it.
Did you get it when you were on Home Alone?
Yeah.
Why did you take it out on the library?
My parents were cheap. My grandparents were cheaper.
Yeah, but you weren't even using that book because you were writing about the wrong Civil War. So why did you take it out on the Chicago library? Take it out on your teacher.
Do you know how many
while we were-
children in
while we were
Chicago
shooting
don't
Home
know
Alone-
about the Civil War because you stole that book? Just that one missing book. And I would
Because of that
at
one
least
missing book.
237. My
It's
guess.
tragic. Kids aren't getting into college because of you, Mike.
You see, Senta, I wrote the paper. I wrote the paper not knowing that the assignment was the Ethiopian Civil War. So that's why I took the book out, because I was writing the paper, researching the
Yeah.
paper, and writing it.
You
While
should
we were in
listen to
Chicago.
Senta.
No.
Senta
Making-
just
I
said
got
you
that.
could have
I'm
been
just
really
wondering
cool
why
highest
about it.
grossing
Oh,
family
the Ethiopian
comedy.
Civil
two
War?
movies in
Better
Chicago,
do the
right?
regular Civil War. The only one I know. The only one I know.
I guess I could have returned the book a couple of years later.
That part.
It didn't occur to me. But
Our next Chicago adventure, we're gonna put the big book return on our list to do. Last time we did dodgeball
was-
or kickball or something.
We played kickball.
This time-
I need that
It's gonna
short
be-
film.
Yes.
I need that short film.
Oh, very good.
And we're gonna say
Very
like
good.
shame, shame, shame as he walks
with
to
the bell, like
Yep.
Hannah wanting, like shame.
Oh, yeah.
shame.
Game
Yeah.
of
okay,
Thrones.
but I'm not
Yeah.
going to be nude.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm not going to be nude. I'll do the crew.
Well,
I'll do
I
the
mean-
crew
You don't
cut,
get
but no
many
nudity.
choices in this. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is not about you. This is about them determining what you have to do to return the book and make a wrong right.
That'll be up to the board of the Greater Chicago Library.
Jonathan Price passing.
Look, and you would totally get away with it on St. Patrick's Day in Chicago.
Yeah, they're all drunk. I mean,
So
you could just
if
walk
you were
in
to
and-
plan that, you should do it on St. Patrick, because you walking around naked with
would
the
fit
book
right in on
is gonna
that
be
day.
like,
On that
no
day, they
big
wouldn't even
Exactly.
notice. Yeah. Oh, another return.
Just one
Yeah.
4-leaf clover covering the important stuff.
I wonder about the things that I forget from my childhood. Like if I'm actually taking care of myself by not remembering them, because there are huge portions of my childhood and my career that I have no memory of whatsoever.
You remember the peeing,
At
though.
all. I remember the peeing because I remember that I was too scared to ask John Landis if I could go to the bathroom. And because I was 5, I was like, well, this is going to happen. So it just, yeah. And I actually ran into him at a commercial audition years ago. He was directing a Taco Bell commercial, and I got a call back. And, I hadn't seen him since I was 5. I wasn't really paying attention to what he looked like much older. And I remember being in the commercial callback thinking, why is this dude asking me so many questions about the Blues Brothers? Like, that's never the one that people ask me about on my resume. And he was like, well, what do you remember about the experience? I'm like, I remember it freezing my ass off. I remember not going to the bathroom and peeing on the car. Like, I didn't get the commercial, so spoiler alert. But
How could you not?
yeah, but it was just this weird sort of.
But he
Yeah, I mean,
knew
I was
he
5.
knew who you were. But
Yeah, because he wrote my college recommendation. He kept in touch with my mom over the years and used to send me little gifts. But this was before social media. So, like, I had no reference for what he looked like, 20, 30 years later, 40 years later.
He didn't send
yeah.
small pictures of himself along with the gifts each time. Hey, just
No,
this is
no,
me
Mike, that's
now.
creepy. That's just so you know, when you send gifts to small children, that's creepy.
That's
Don't do that.
That's grooming. We can't have that.
No, thank you. Right.
Do you guys remember like meeting on that set? Because that may be one of those things that are blocked out, but meeting Michael C on the set Home Alone.
I would say as a prologue to that Senta, the reason that you remember the Blues Brothers thing is because you had an emotional button for that memory. Your emotional button was you were scared to pee, and that's why it sticks with you in your brain. And so I think I remember when I met Senta, like music started playing for some reason. There was no music in the movie, but music just started playing.
Trumpet.
And, like,
But was it because Jed was like playing on the piano? Do you
was
remember he used to
tinkling.
play on the piano?
Yeah, talented guy. I just saw Jed Cohen, who played the skeptical glasses-wearing cousin.
Wait, was it Jed or was it Devin? Maybe it was Devin that was on the piano.
Oh man, now you're installing false memories in my hard drive.
That'll happen. Be
Gonna have to
careful
look
about
through all
that.
the behind-the-scenes videos.
Sunlight started streaming in through the window behind Senta, and all of a sudden the vision grew hazy, and there she was, a mass of curls, very bubbly energy,
How many girls?
just incurable optimism at that point. I remember she was just unable.
That was before I was jaded.
Right. I mean, Hillary.
It was the
Hillary
90s.
was
It
just
happened to everybody.
Hillary was just a frown machine. I was one of several people who was experiencing a divorce, like during the shooting of the movie. Like Terry was going through divorce, John Hurd was going through a divorce, my parents were getting divorced, and there was Senta, always happy. She was just she was reliable in that way. And I'm not saying like, a
Oh,
relief
you.
pitcher who gives you a couple of innings. I'm talking about like a starter. I'm talking about a starting pitcher
Oh,
who you look forward to
that's
that
very
start,
kind,
like a
Mr.
like a
Michael.
Jacob DeGrom but hopefully a longer, obviously a
Doesn't have to
longer
be a Met.
career. Obviously a long. Well, I'm not going to say
Never
Greg.
has to be a Met.
I'm not going to say
Never
Right,
Greg
has
just
to be a
for
Maddux.
our
Met.
guest, it could have been a Chicago player.
Not saying Greg Maddux. Not saying it. Didn't just say it twice. That's what I remember.
Amazing.
I have to admit, I don't remember my first day on set meeting anybody. Like I have no memory of like meeting people. I just remember being there with them. And bless you, by the way. Was that a
Like
sneeze?
I would know. But thank you for
It
playing
looked like one.
playing along.
It looks like one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we roofied you onto set, is what you're saying, because all of a sudden you were there.
Oh, yeah, that would track.
Ooh, that opening
I
cat
remember the
meal.
audition process, but I don't remember my first day on set. Yeah.
Was John
Do you
Landis
remember?
in the auditions?
No,
I'm
Oh
presuming
no,
he
that
was.
was.
John
Oh no, that was
Landis.
Blues
Yeah,
Brothers.
John Landis
Oh,
did
Chris
okay.
not.
Columbus
Yeah,
was.
Chris,
Yeah.
Chris Columbus.
But
Either
it
one
didn't.
at this point are incredible.
You're not kidding. There was Chris Columbus and John Hughes was in there, and so was Mark, the producer. And I remember we were doing these like mix and match with the families,
exactly.
where they would bring in, Uncle Frank's family, and then the whole McAllister family, and then brothers and sisters. So I remember it being very mixy and matchy. And I remember it being a long day.
They had me read for Devin's part as well. They had me read Buzz.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I tried to channel that anger. I tried to channel that, but you couldn't take that away from Devin. He embodied Buzz for them, and I think they made a good casting choice.
Yeah. You get the roles you're supposed to get. That's what I believe.
Right. That's why they remember me saying toilet paper on film. That's what I said. I said toilet paper.
There are worse things that could be said.
So your
Accurate
first
statement.
your first job was you said a diaper commercial, Senta? My first job was a feeding bra commercial, a maternity bra print ad when I was an infant. I don't know if I was 6 months old.
Really?
But yeah, that was the deal.
And what about you, Danny? What was your first
I
job?
did one too. I did one too as a little baby.
Which one?
A diaper commercial.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look
And
at this.
it didn't air because my mom left because the director was nasty, and my mom got upset and walked out.
The
Yeah,
director
that.
kept up with him over the
It
years.
happens,
kept
and then
sending
I
his
didn't
mom
do anything
full
again
notes.
until I was 6 years old. I guess 'cause that was it. And then I did a commercial,
Wow.
the first thing that I can remember, and my gift was to go to Toys R Us. I get to pick one thing. I was down for it. I was like,
I
"That's
remember
great!
the
You
My
I'm
Gift-
into this."
Yeah.
What was it?
I went
Dan?
big.
What did
I
you
went
pick? Do you remember?
I don't know, probably like Castle Grayskull or something. It was certainly He-Man oriented.
Oh yeah,
that was-
He-Man. Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
With the Castle Grayskull had that green slime that you could. Oh hell yeah,
it
good
kinda
choice,
smelled a little
Danny. Good
weird.
choice.
That I can remember the smell of that and the smell of Moss Man also being like a weird smell that I can recall that smell and be like, yeah, no, that's the Moss Man smell. I've never smelled anything else like it, but
Sense memory. Yeah. So I still have my strawberry shortcake dolls. My parents, my mama saves everything, so she
that's
saved
creepy.
my strawberry shortcake dolls. You ready for this? They still smell, which is kind of creepy.
how did
Like
they do
strawberry.
that?
What's in them? Yes, strawberry shortcake still smells like strawberry shortcake.
They put
Yeah, what
those
chemical
is
forever
that?
chemicals. Forever.
I've been
forever.
smelling this doll's head since
Amazing we're still alive.
1947. It still smells.
Get just a whiff before I go out of the house.
Keep it by the door so I can sniff it right before I leave. All right, face the
good motivator.
face the world. Face the world.
I need to smell that smell.
The best smell when I was a kid. Do you remember those markers, the black marker that smelled like licorice? Like there was like the grape flavor, the cherry, but the black one, the smell of that black licorice marker is probably my favorite smell from childhood.
Did that remind
That's
you?
I like a
intense.
lot of the
That's very
scratch and
that's a
sniffs.
very polarizing smell, Santa.
Yeah, did that
I know
remind
the
you of
licorice.
grandma or something like that, because that to me was always coded as an adult licorice. Black
Oh, the
licorice was always
licorice?
No, it was always like a grown-up licorice
Black
as opposed to
licorice.
we got
Yeah.
red licorice. You know what I mean? The
Okay, so wait, I got to ask. I don't want to get political, but I got to ask a question.
red vines,
Twizzlers or red
red
vines?
vines.
Fuck you, Mike. Come on.
Yeah,
Oh no, I'm an
that's
East
a-
Coast.
that's
I'm an
really
East Coast guy.
upsetting.
I'm an East Coast guy.
Yeah, but I still like Twizzlers. I'm an East Coast guy.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I never had red vines. I'm a Twizzlers guy.
I didn't
I'm a
sit through enough movies in the movie theater to necessitate the red vines.
I don't.
See,
I don't
like,
Are
have
you
either.
into
We're in the movie
Twizzlers or
theater.
red vines?
I don't have either of them, but I have had many
I'm a
more
Twizzler
Twizzlers
guy.
in my life. I've had many more Twizzlers.
Thank you.
I've drank several
Yeah.
Coca-Colas and more
Yeah.
than one root beer through a Twizzler that you bite off both ends
You
and
have
use
to.
as a straw.
And then you turn into an adult and you're that guy with the straw and you stick it through the hot dog. So there's a hole in the hot dog. So then you have a hot dog straw and you drink your beer at the ballpark. You ever seen that video? It's some guy.
No, but wait, is the
it's
hot
some
dog
guy in a
in the
Yankees
beer?
hat too. So us Met fans, we get a better kick out of that than most. And yeah, he's sitting in his seat and he straw out of whatever he's drinking, water or something like that, and he like digs his he digs his hot dog tunnel. He skewers the kebab.
He skewers
and
his
the beer,
kebab.
and then he does it so nonchalant, like people might be taking videos, but who cares? I've been doing it for years. My dad taught it to me. His dad taught it to him. I don't know.
But is he eating the hot dog at the same time as he's sipping the beer?
I imagine the video didn't go that long, but I imagine at the end when the beer is gone, I'm sure he eats the hot dog because you can only
And
get
that's
so
not
far,
me.
right? And you gotta
Oh.
wait because you can't be nibbling as you go, or else your nose is gonna be in the cup.
We were all
if
introduced
he
to
was-
Kobayashi at the same time, like the
Oh, yeah.
the Coney Island hot dog eating contest, the Nathan's hot dog eating contest,
Yeah.
where he had this technique of dipping the
Drowning
bun,
the bread,
Yeah.
right? Because it
Ugh.
was,
compacting
yeah.
the bread. Yeah, I had not thought of that before, but that was a game changer.
But you're not talking about the bun. You're just talking about the actual hot dog, right?
I'm
The
talking
meat
about the
tube
hot
is what
Danny-
he's
He
talking about.
takes the
He's
meat
talking about
tube.
the
He
meat.
makes a
Yeah.
meat tube straw. And he drinks the beer. Good for him. I'm not trying to yuck anyone's yum. I'm just saying we're talking about Twizzlers and
Yeah.
drinking soda.
Don't pee in his pool of
You
joy.
need to- you-
Just let him have his fun.
You can drink soda and you can drink you can use the Twizzler as a straw, but please don't upgrade that to beer and hot dog is what I'm saying. Don't do it.
No, don't do
in,
it.
in the world of eco-friendly straws, I feel like it's not the worst thing in the world to use a hot dog.
I'm just
But-
gonna turn off the
especially if you're gonna
baby
eat it.
monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like my issue with those environmental straws is they're paper, so they sort of
They just
disintegrate,
mush.
especially.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
putting that in a hot dog, like it would
You're
just.
like, hey, is
More-
that a
more
roller?
mush.
I don't-
Is that a paint roller? No.
You
it's-
dip it in
uh,
hairspray first.
See what I mean? We're just talking about soup to nuts, Senta, just whenever it comes out.
I love that.
Have you ever experienced turbulence on a flight and wondered why?
And you can see all the terrain around you. You've got no issue with visibility or anything? No, everything's PG.
Maybe you've sat on the tarmac for hours wondering why your plane isn't moving.
Well, we're outside here. They're saying the ramp is closed. They won't let us park because of Air Force One.
Listen in on the conversations between pilots and air traffic controllers on the Air Traffic Out of Control podcast.
510 declaring an emergency. There's smoke in the cabin. I need to make a landing right now on 31 left.
We have the most interesting, wild, and funny ATC recordings you will ever hear. Check out Air Traffic Out of Control wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
You're a science-oriented gal, and that makes sense because you brought science into our lives with Beakman's World. You really lit
Learn
up.
science.
You really lit up the television in your post Home Alone. For me, your post Home Alone career.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that I saw you.
98.
Yeah, it was the first thing that I
Yeah.
saw you in again after Home Alone. And much distance and me avoiding Chicago because of the whole library book thing. I really wasn't going to go back there. So that really wasn't, that was my only chance to see you outside of that one, My So-Called Life episode or
Right.
so.
Because you're a wanted man for stealing. Yeah.
Wanted man in old Winnetka. Wanted man in Evanstown.
Chicago cops just have a little headshot of young Michael from Home Alone on their dashboards. Like, we're going to get him one of these days. Give me another slice of that deep dish.
Where did the Southern guy come
That's
from?
not my Chicago. I don't do accents.
No, that wasn't a good accent, but we're going to let it slide.
Yeah, you guys can do the accents. You're the trained professionals. Yes.
Ohio accent.
I went to a dialect coach when I first came out to Los Angeles to lose my Chicago accent. And speaking of Beakman's world, they used to write, they would write characters where I would have different accents. And initially, Cleopatra was supposed to have a Chicago accent because the lovely writers were like, oh, you should be able to do this. And I couldn't do it. Like, I can fall into it if I'm with my friends from Chicago, but I can't just pull it up.
Wow.
So we had to change it. And I think now Cleopatra had like a New Jersey accent or like a Brooklyn accent.
More easily sourced for you.
Yeah, but I had this like block with the Chicago accent.
Arm's length.
It comes in on occasion.
I think that the delivery and the framing, the cutaways, and the way you were almost like this, like the format that we're in right now, it presupposed a lot of that almost like Blues Clues and all of the like I'm biased because this is what's in my brain because I have a baby.
Certainly.
Miss Rachel sort of genre of teaching to a kid, having this dialogue with a kid. That's
like you're talking to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like you did.
Yeah, you're breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah. The goat.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be with people dressed up as animals.
Yeah.
Presupposing furries. Furries have always been with us.
They've always been in our society.
We had a giant furry. I mean, Mark Ritz, who played the man in the rat suit, was kind of like a big furry.
We're making a documentary called The Man in the Rat Suit.
Oh, I miss my rat. Actually, I just saw Paul Zaloom about a month and a half ago. We had lunch with Pam Putsch, who was one of the producers on the show, who actually is Gene Stapleton's daughter, which is how Gene Stapleton ended up on the show as Beakman's mom. But it was so fun to see Paul, and it was crazy. Like, I'm sure you guys know, like, you get with old cast members that you had a certain chemistry with or a certain like banter with, and you fall right back into it like not a day passed. Like, I was just sitting next to Paul giving him shit the whole time, and he was looking at me like, you're an idiot. But it was perfect. It was perfect, and I miss those guys so much.
When Danny and I spend any amount of time together, a tattoo pops back out of his skin spontaneously. He manifests.
The outline manifests. That's
the
correct,
outline.
Like almost Wonder Twin powers, but it's like a tattoo, like
it's like Wolfman, but the back ship tattoo is like yeah, it's great.
You made that show in LA or elsewhere?
Yeah, we shot it here. Like I said, that was 97, 98, around there. And, we shot all 26 episodes in one swoop, like, what? And it was crazy. The other kind of funny thing about my experience on that show is there was a teleprompter in the camera, right? So when you're looking into the camera, you can read all the science stuff. But I could not use the teleprompter. That is a skill that I do not have. I'm just not capable of that. So I would memorize everything. I would do what I had been doing my whole life, which was memorize all of the stuff. And Paul used to give me so much shit about it. He's like, you're such a show off. You know all your lines. And I was like, this is not about me showing off. This is about me unable to do the teleprompter. Because it would just... Have you ever used one? It's really hard.
Stressful, yeah. You could see the strain on Joe Biden is really showing now.
It's just really, and if you get like the wrong timing, and then there's like that like where it's like rolling, and then if you're too slow, it goes back up, and it's too much. It's too much.
You just go to the video of Bill O'Reilly getting upset, which like that's something that I could be in the worst mood, have had like the worst day of my life. I can watch that. All is right in the world. To play us out? What does that mean, to play us out? Fuck it, we'll do it live. And then it just gets...
So you, Danny, and you, Senta, you were both in LA doing some great kids TV at the same time in the late 90s.
We might have crossed paths walking along City Walk. Universal.
Yeah. Oh my God, with that big gorilla and the candy store. Do you remember the candy store? Oh.
Yes, I do. I don't think it was like that predates It's Sugar, but it was like one of those places.
Yeah.
It's sugar.
Yeah.
Jeremy and I used to do sketch comedy together in New York, and once we went to an It's Sugar and we bought a bear. And we used it for a long time.
Yeah.
At least, it made it through at least a dozen, maybe even 24 shows before it started getting smaller and smaller, and it's pooling.
Oh, you didn't eat it. It just started like...
No, we couldn't take a bite. It was a prop for a sketch. Yeah.
Well, that's why you've got to consume the candy immediately. Like, as soon as you get it, you put it in your mouth. You don't play
that's what I remember doing when I went into that candy store at Universal. Was like, oh, I'm eating candy right now. We're going to get down.
Yeah.
Before mom catches
Yeah, it's super trendy up there now. There's like a Voodoo Donuts. There's like the Margaritaville up there. It's like, it's happening up there. It's not. Do you remember the Think Big store that was up there? Which they took like the little, like there was like paper clips like that were like this big. There was aspirin that was like that big. Does anybody else remember the store, or am I totally fucking hallucinating?
No, it sounds familiar.
We're going to play Incredible Shrinking Woman. Let's go to Think Big.
Okay, Jeremy, fact check me on this. There was a show, there was a store called Think Big.
You're using a fact check. That's
nice.
Fact check facts.
All right, Think Big store.
After the fact check. It's the Neil Young album, After the Fact Check.
The store was a joint endeavor by two friends, artist Phyllis Prinz and a businessman, Robert Malkin. The product line started with small offerings of consisting of giant 6-foot pencils and 5-foot Crayola crayons.
Yeah.
Says it grew to be over 100 different larger-than-life products.
There were like big, like the memo pads, like, you know, those pink memo pads? Like there were big ones of that.
Oh, the old while you were out, blank called, wants to have a blank. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at those suckers. That's a big coffee cup. That's a big Oreo.
The Oreo!
Yep.
Oh.
Big pencil.
Big Oreo doesn't want you to know about that.
Yeah. They take these large things for granted.
I was just thinking about Philippe Petit crossing the high wire between the Twin Towers. I was just thinking about him the other day.
Holding a giant pencil?
No, the pencil was not involved.
Pretty sure it was in that documentary. If not, we'll put it in there.
It should have been. Yeah.
Yes.
Just
put different things in his hand. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, that was at the Universal. So wait, Danny, how long did you live in LA? A long time?
Half the year from 97 to 2000. So I would go
squarely in the Senta zone. You're
basically
in the
like
zone,
October to March. I would be in LA.
And what studio were you shooting at?
Hockey season, basically.
So Nick and had a...
Okay. Oh, you know, we weren't far. We were at Sunset Gower.
Sunset Argyle.
Yeah.
We were at Sunset Gower.
Right next door.
Is Sunset Gower now the animation studios?
No.
That's further down Sunset Boulevard. Okay. Sunset Gower is still... But there used to be like the Gower Gulch with that dive karaoke bar.
I'm just going to say that because I remember singing karaoke. I have a picture of me and one of the writers from all that, Keith Seifert, singing My Name is Luca karaoke because I thought it was funny. My name is Luca. And that was not paying any attention to the substance of that song. And being like, oh, well, yeah, it's all right. I'm just making jokes. Look at me. This is a big Sapporo.
But do you remember Dimples, the karaoke bar in Burbank? Dimples Karaoke over on Olive. So I used to go there more than I want to admit. And one morning I woke up and my friend called me and she said, I've got a question for you. And I said, okay. She said, were you singing Pat Benatar, Hit Me With Your Best Shot at Dimples last night? I was like, yeah. I was like, were you there? Why didn't you say hello? And she said, oh, no, you were on cable access at like 3 a.m. They used to broadcast whoever, like basically there was this sign that was like that fucking big in the corner of the stage because I found it after the fact that says you may be recorded and this may be televised.
Waiver.
So anybody that's saying in Dimples, at some point you were on cable access, embarrassing yourself.
That is very embarrassing.
You spread the gospel. What are you talking about?
You spread the gospel of karaoke, yeah.
The gospel of Pat Benatar.
Hey, we've all been there. Well, why don't we go there? What else was right down the street from there? The Baked Potato. I used to see like a lot of cool like jazz right down the street there.
Oh, yeah, the jazz club. That's still there.
Yeah, is it still? I don't know if it's still
there.
on that
Now,
spot.
now that weed is legal, it's much more popular.
Right, because now baked has
right,
yeah,
the baked
different
potato.
meaning.
They put in the
Baked
baked in
potato,
parentheses now to really.
And it's just code. Basically, the whole place is just people sitting on a couch, super high, right, watching television.
I would think that there were a couple times I saw music there where everyone was just that high. It was very fun. Used to go there. Honestly, the guitar player from the Police, Andy Summers, used to come there like on the regular and just do like freak out guitar. Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool.
What?
Yeah, I mean, he would
just hop on the stage and play with whoever was playing.
He was like a regular there, and you're like, this place holds like 50 people, and he's just like playing stuff that did not sound like the Police.
That's the way to see him.
What are you gonna do? Oh,
it's a mini person.
It's a mini Maronna.
Well, put her on camera. Let me. Or do you not want to put her little face on camera?
It's already been done, but this is her. That's
I'm gonna put up one black bar over her eyes, just like
several black bars. Would you? She's a good guest. Yes. She deserves it.
Your littlest fan.
Yeah.
I've got a littler one now. Welcome to the world, everybody. Baby Marion.
Marion.
We're sorry we took off the month of April. That was we took off April because
we were in the NICU.
Maronna was on paternity leave.
Is she named after someone? Is Marion? Is she named after someone?
I don't think so. But my mother keeps singing the song from The Music Man, Madam Librarian, to her. But she spelled Marion with an O. And it was just a name we were able to agree on.
You're surrounded by women.
And I mean, it's this. The format of this podcast is more like the Brady Bunch kind of tiling layout. Yes, I am surrounded. And as you get to college, people, you're going to see more and more women getting college educations. Be ready.
Yeah, we're coming. We're coming for you.
This is my fight song.
Yeah, so
more babies.
What?
More
Is
babies.
somebody talking about their kids? I'm coming in.
All these little voices.
Right. You don't get the spotlight. I
had to pick my son up from school today and want to go to the playground because it's beautiful. New York City today. It's like 72 and sunny and just like little breeze, like perfect weather. So we're on the playground and all the kids wanted to play with Penelope, who's my 2-year-old, and like it's the first time I saw my son like get like jealous. Like,
how old's your son?
Truly, he's gonna be 5. No, and he was like, no, she's playing with us, and I was like, oh, that's really sweet. And then his 2 little friends that he was playing with started really enjoying playing with Penelope and like chasing her and running around and stuff. And I could just see like the fun time that Alfie was having was slowly turning, and he was like, I don't like that. Only I want to play. And I was like, wait, a second ago you wanted her to play with everybody, and now they're playing with her. And he's like, I just don't like it.
Did you see like the black curtain come down in his eyes?
So yeah. Totally, and actually, she loved it so much. She was like,
plotting revenge.
She was like, yeah, actually, I don't really want to. I see you all the time at home. Like these are new kids, and they're having fun playing. Like I also watched her be like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to take attention. I'm going to run with it right now.
Yeah, I don't think your son is ever going to want to go to that playground again.
It's a good one. It's large and has many slides. It's important for him.
Steering wheels? Any steering wheels?
Yeah, some steering wheels.
What are slides made of these days? Because when we were growing up, it was those metal ones where you burned your ass on the way down. So what are they made of now? Are they plastic?
Chinese newspapers.
What? Yeah, I was going to say.
Some of them are still metal. And then it gets to a point where you're like,
but the metal is woke.
Come on, NY Parks. You can do it. You can change them out. We don't have to scald every kid sliding down the slide.
The metal horses, where if you could really...
At least they're safer.
Safer? Do you know how many times I cracked my head? Because I went hard.
This is going to be my mayoral...
See, years ago, they weren't using those those springs that are wider now.
My mayoral campaign
they've
platform
they've upgraded the width.
is just going to be changing all the slides in every playground in New York. And if we're not done by my first term, by God, I'm going to run for a second term just so we can change all those slides.
Just so we can change them all out.
Yeah. Titanium slides, our kids are worth it. Titanium.
I'm putting my prop guy hat on, and I think we could do like contact paper.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So it covers the metal.
High,
still a little doesn't
high
burn your
gloss.
butts.
I need high
it's
gloss.
Not super expensive.
Oh yeah.
But would it melt in the hot sun where it would just become sticky?
It might
and
melt
gross?
to the kids.
You know what?
Deputy mayor.
You don't want to be liable for any
Deputy
paper
mayor.
cuts. You don't keep the upkeep with the paper.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, that's why I don't do props.
You don't do it anymore.
We can pay for it. We can pay for it by. We could pay for it by streaming it to cable access. There'll be a little disclaimer in the corner of if you ride this slide.
Dimples is out of work now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
He knows how to make it happen.
Well, as we rapidly head towards the end of this, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about a film that I grew to love. It was one of my favorites whenever it came out, 2000s. And for some reason, I just loved it. And I watched it dozens of times.
Can't Hardly Wait.
And it was called Can't Hardly Wait.
I got cut out of that movie because I was too much for the PG-13 rating. Thank you. My character was strung out on E, and I was petting a banana.
That's amazing.
My scenes, and I was too much. I was too hot for the rating, I got cut.
How are you too much?
But they used, it was a little sexual, and they did. The directors were lovely, and they brought myself and a bunch of the other actors that were also cut out for ratings reasons in at the beginning, so you can hear my voice at the front of the movie, like during the credits, you hear people talking. So I still get residuals on that, but no, my stuff got cut out. Yeah, great movie though.
I feel like there should always be director's cuts, just always.
Residuals from jobs you get cut out.
I want to see that.
I don't.
Well, one of my favorite things from that script is Jennifer Elise Cox played this character that was so drunk she was subtitled through the whole movie, and they had to you see one scene with her crowd surfing, but they cut. And it was so brilliant in the script that this character was just mumbling and subtitle. But again, they couldn't get back then ratings were much more conservative, so they couldn't get the ratings. So her role got cut too. Crazy. What could have been?
This movie gold.
I get residuals for Cabin Fever, a movie that I never filmed a scene in and was cut out of. I don't get residuals for Stealing Harvard, a movie I shot several scenes for, committed to film, but none of them made it into the film. Maybe SAG should look into that.
How is that possible?
Yeah.
Yes, get SAG on that for sure.
Can we get a fact check, Jeremy? Is that possible?
Yes, you should.
Yeah.
You absolutely should.
Well,
So
also,
what exactly am I checking?
I don't know.
What you would get residuals for? You should get residuals for both, I believe.
I do get them for Cabin Fever. I don't think I get them for Stealing Harvard. We got to look into that. Let's look into that.
Do you get 1 cent residual checks?
Yes.
I could wallpaper my house with 1 cent residual checks.
I could insulate my basement with 1 cent residual checks.
Yeah.
I could diaper the babies with 1 cent residual checks.
I actually warm my
You're always throwing them in there.
Cheaper than firewood. Cheaper than firewood.
Cheaper than firewood.
Yeah.
That's right. That's that 1 cent. That 1 cent going a long way.
It's an Actors Blues jam.
Yeah.
Heat my
there's
house.
a country song in there.
Do you know how much kindling costs these days?
With 1 cent checks. I'm singing the blues.
I was in Huck Finn, The Adventures of Huck Ben Rogers, who in the book was like a main role. The movie was long, and so they cut all of the Ben Rogers Huck scenes out. But they did me a solid, and they put me in the the commercial. They put me in the fucking trailer.
The interactive
They put me in the
CD-ROM,
trailer
right?
for it. So that's
it
was
nice.
I yell "Go for the glory, Huck" or something like that, and it's and it's you're not in it, but you see your face. You see my face every time that trailer pops up, And they're like, we did this for you because you're basically out of it.
Your friends at school saw your face.
I actually say that to young actors all the time. I had a young actor, this was a few months ago, that was devastated because she got cut out of a movie, and I was like, it's a rite of passage. Like, it just happens, and it has nothing to do with your performance or anything else. It's just kind of the way it is.
It happens. We've all been cut out of movies, even Jeremy.
Well,
what were you cut out of?
A job we did
let's see,
together.
Titanic. No. What?
Were you the one on the door with Rose, which is why Jack couldn't fit?
He was underneath the door.
Yeah,
He was on the underside of the door.
She
They
holding
me
up
for
the
some
door.
reason.
They didn't want to show.
Yeah.
They felt
Like,
it was
come on in.
too...
In Pirates of the Caribbean, there was a John Sparrow, and that was Jeremy, and he was
His
he was the
straight-laced
opposite of
little
Jack.
brother.
Yeah, his straight-laced little brother.
But wait,
Yeah.
no, but in the original script wasn't a throuple. It was a thruple, and then that got cut out, right?
For content,
Yeah.
Disney said we're not ready to embrace polyamory just yet.
No.
Well, I've always wanted to do the segment on this podcast called "Read for It, Didn't Get It." So, like, Danny read for what's the whale one?
Free
or
Willy.
The,
I got that, and
oh,
Yeah.
You
right.
turned down Free Willy.
Doesn't count.
my mother down because the first script that we got, there was like a lot of like
Nudity,
bad
implied
dad
nudity.
stuff. Basically, my mom was like, "You were gonna put you in the entertainment industry where there's lots of questionable things, but
Great
yeah, they were
parents.
great. They were good
Shout
parents.
out.
Like they definitely were like read stuff and were like, no, like Jacob's Ladder I read for and almost got, and
I read for Art School Confidential, and in the middle of the callback, in the middle of the callback, made eye contact with Terry Zwigoff, and while I'm doing my scene, he goes, "Don't look at me."
Even your daughter was like, "You did what?
Yeah.
You made eye contact
Right.
with the director?"
We just watched Crumb. We just watched Crumb, and she can't believe
Amateur?
it. She can't believe it.
Yeah,
I haven't
she
shown her
was
Ghost World yet.
excited.
Because she'll be way too snarky if I show my daughter Ghost
Yeah,
World.
well, she's gonna
Crumb
be
or Who is
more.
Harry Crumb?
Yeah.
Which one?
No, Crumb, not Who's Harry Crumb.
I think you should show her Who is Harry Crumb first.
You got to show. I'm working on a job right now with Steve Martin, and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles does come up a lot, like in my head. Never to him.
Oh yeah.
Never to him. But
Never to him.
I have a Steve Martin run-in, and it's not my best moment. I was hiking Runyon Canyon with my girlfriend, and there was this very cute puppy coming towards me. And this guy in this red hat was throwing a tennis ball. The puppy was grabbing it, running it back to him. And as they start getting closer, I realize that it's Steve Martin, who is one of my all-time favorite comedians of all time. And he passes me this way. And I turn to my friend Liz, and I essentially vomit Steve Martin's resume. I'm singing the Thermos song. Like, I am just going on and on about everything this man has ever done and professing my love for Steve Martin. And she turns to me to basically say, yeah, I know who the fuck Steve Martin is. And she does this. He's right over your shoulder. He had turned around and he was standing right here and heard all of it.
I'm gonna follow
And
up
I
with
was-
him and see if he can corroborate the other end of the story.
Oh my God. I looked at him and I was just like, so clearly
Amazing.
I love you. And then he walked faster than anybody I've ever seen walk. Like, I think it was just like,
Marvin the
It was not a
Martian
good
levels
moment.
of leg blur to get out of there.
it's not a good moment.
Here's what you do: you get the same ball that he was throwing his dog,
Yeah.
and as soon as you have the ball, you got the dog. So you throw that ball,
Ooh.
your ball, to that dog.
The
That
dog.
dog comes
Yeah.
to you.
You claim the
And then
power.
you're best friends.
You have the power.
Oh, that's a meet cute. That's a meet
Yeah,
cute.
it's a
meet
meet
Martin.
cute.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Senta, I ran into David Cross once at a bar in
I love him.
New York, and he's one of my favorites. And I was a little tipsy, and he was very much looking for someone that wasn't. And I like went up, tried to like talk to him, and he like kind of looked at me like weird, like what, like, and I was stumbling over my words like this a little bit, and I was just like, I used to be on TV too. I did sketch comedy, and he was like, great dude. I'm like, I just wanted to say thanks. He's like, okay. And I said, okay, yeah. I was like, I gotta go.
Did you want to yell like, I'm funny, dude.
I know. It was such a moment where I was just like, I ruined this encounter like so terribly. And I still think about it, and that was like, I don't even know. That was probably almost 20.
Those 3 a.m. thoughts, those regrets. And now I just don't talk to actors that I admire because like when I was on the picket line, Bryan Cranston was there, and one of my friends was like, "Oh my God, go talk to him." I was like, "No, you don't. That's not going to go well." Like I could do an entire like TED talk about his pop chip ad. Like I am not the person to be talking to Bryan Cranston any fucking time soon.
I'm going to expand.
And I have to like you got to know your limits. And me talking to people that I admire,
it's not it.
Not it.
Not it.
Did you guys think I left after Danny talked about backpack full of balls? That was the last thing I heard, and then my internet. I'm doing all this from my phone's hotspot because we don't have internet yet, so I'm surprised it lasted that long. But
this was so fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and if you have any plugs, I don't know if Mike already brought it up, but if you have any plugs, any socials you want to share.
Well, I'm on Twitter because I'm not calling it fucking X. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Senta Moses, and I'm back to auditioning. I'm back to looking for my next gig, like every other actor out there.
You can contact Senta online with the social medias, or if maybe you want to leave a voicemail for her at the Danny and Mike hotline, which is 347-470-8150. 347-470-8150.
Danny doesn't remember.
I just said it.
Give us a call. Senta, thank you so much for joining us. If you want to get more information on the show, check out at Danny and Mike or at The Adventures of Danny and Mike. Danny's Twitter is at DTamberelli. Michael's at Michael C. Maronna on the Twits and at Danny Tamberelli on the Instagram. I'm at Remy Balon, at Jeremy Balon on the Instagram. And we are part of the Seltzer Kings network. Check out all of their great podcasts. And that
Bye.
is the end of my diatribe.
Yep.
Gotta go.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Senta.
Bye.
The Adventures of Danny and Mike stars Danny Tamberelli and Michael C. Maronna. The show is produced by me, Jeremy Balon. For more information on the guys, visit our website at DannyandMike.com. Also look us up on Twitter at Danny and Mike with the N spelled out, and on Facebook at Facebook.com/The Adventures of Danny and Mike. Thanks for listening.
Seltzer Kings
podcasts.